Welcome in, everyone, to the Challenge Aftershow. Today, Jen and I are talking about the Challenge Ride or Dies, Episode 4, Livin' on the Edge.
Every single time, I kid you not, to the people who watch us, this is not some sort of bit or shtick. I swear to you, I never think about episode titles until Dan introduces our show. And every time I'm like, oh my God, how do I fall for it every time?
I was
Wow.
disappointed with this one because it kind of gives it away. I looked at the beginning like, Livin', oh, Olivia, okay. So Olivia has some big storyline this episode, and she clearly does. So what the
Give
hell?
it all away. Just give it all away. Why don't you? Just be like me and don't even think about the episode titles.
I guess I could write it down after. I don't know. There's something about me when I get into the to writing down like the challenge, Ride or Dies, episode 4. I just like want to know that next part right away. So
Very
that's what happened.
organized. And
Yeah.
do you feel that handwritten notes are better for you? Because now I've been using my cell phone and taking in the notes app out.
I like writing it down. I don't know why. It's old school. And I don't want to have to refer to my phone. I like to have my phone away from me, maybe in an old way. And I'm just like in my little notebook here.
Yeah. Professor Dan.
Professor Dan. Yes. All
Like I
right.
missed
Well,
something. I write so slow and then I look at my handwriting. I can't even read my own handwriting. It looks like cursive from a
it's
second
it's an
grader.
art. I'm telling you, being able to write stuff down but still listen and have it legible enough to read. It's a skill for sure.
He's an artiste, everyone.
Yes. Oh, not even close. All right. Well, let's get into this episode. A ton of vignettes. There's only one I want to talk about, but if you want to talk about any of the other ones, please bring them up. And I want to go turn into Danny drama right now. And we're getting some fun hookups this season. And they mentioned 4 of them. One we already kind of, maybe a couple we already knew about. But I guess my biggest thing, I just want to talk about it off the bat.
I knew you would. It's
How
funny you
could we
say
not
that.
talk about this right away?
Well, I wanted to text you, but I was saying, let me wait till the show. I was thinking about you that whole first A block. I don't know what you want to call it on the show. The
A block
whole
works too. I call them
tour.
vignettes, but it's the same
And I was like,
concept.
man, you finally got your hookups. And I was thinking, did these all happen in one single night, or are they just now editing just a little bit of a loving montage? But it's interesting because I think the one you want to talk about is the one I want to talk about. And earlier in the night, when they're around a fire pit and they're all chatting, I see Tori is sitting next to Jordan.
I
And the
didn't
fact
I didn't notice that part. Okay.
yeah,
This is
the
good.
fact that they're just sitting next to each other, I feel like I'm in middle school. I'm like, oh my God, look at them. They're sitting next to each other. They must be okay with each other. They're
Wow.
friends
Yeah.
again. And then he sneaks in her bed.
And he says something very interesting in the confession. He goes, I don't think those feelings ever go away for somebody like that. And I have to disagree with that statement because I can't tell you how many relationships I've been in where I could see that person in real life now. And I'd be like, yes, it feels like I always compare it to almost like a dream. Like I know it happened, but it doesn't feel real anymore. So the fact that he's saying that his feelings aren't going away, to me, that's like real love. Like I'm talking about like relationships when I was in college and stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, you existed. We had I'm talking like a 5-year relationship here. I can look
Wow.
back on that and be like, I was 21. Like to me, Tori and Jordan still feel so damn real. Like, in the fact that he said that to me feels like they should be together. I'm sorry. Danny Drama's here for it. And I don't understand. I know that they're not together now. So like that, if social media didn't exist and you and I saw them just get into the same bed, we would be stoked. And I'm using another word from the early 2000s. We'd be stoked for the rest of this season.
Brother, we'd be
Mm-hmm.
so stoked. Yeah, it definitely made my eyes pop out. I didn't know. I was secretly rooting for it, but I also want to make sure that they're both okay. It seems like they're both into it, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But you can kind of create a cycle of constantly getting hurt if you're in those situations and they're hurting each other because we see that they're not together anymore. And he is saying those feelings don't go away. But I also wonder if it is like a challenge house sort of thing. And then when they get back in the real world, maybe they realize they still don't quite work together. Or maybe it was like just such an attractive force, a magnetic power that's pulling them together that they can't help themselves. But yeah, it was I wish we saw more. I mean, we saw they try to play it up like they're just laying in bed together, it's comforting, and they're friends, but I felt like I saw some movement going on there.
Okay, so you think that more than just a cuddle session happened between them that night?
I don't know.
Because
I don't know
I
what
got the
happened. Sort of
vibe. The vibe they were trying to give off was we just wanted someone to cuddle with. It's old feelings. It's a comfort. It's that, that old comfort, that nostalgia almost in a way of each other, where we're like, we just want to have that feeling maybe one more time. I don't know. But I don't think they had sex. You think maybe you saw
I'm not
movement.
saying they did or did I don't know. I don't know.
Well, what is
I,
movement? What is the definition of movement to you, Jenna?
maybe they were pulling a blanket over them. It got cold. The breeze came in, and then they just needed, a little
little
chicking of
extra
the
warmth.
blanket. I mean, I kind of roll around like crazy in my sleep. I'm chaotic, so maybe.
Yeah, but they be in that twin bed. There ain't much room to roll around. They're roll right off the damn thing if they try. I
No.
think it was just a cuddle session. I'm definitely hoping for them to at least like kiss her. Maybe get to a club scene in a couple episodes where they're just at a club and they're a little drunk. I don't care. Get them super drunk. These producers know what they're doing. Come on, we need hookups here, and especially for Tori and Jordan to kiss on the challenge yet again. That is something that we all want to see.
I was kind of surprised that it happened because it had been months since they talked and last saw each other. The last time they really interacted was their breakup, from our understanding. So to be able to close that door in an engagement, that's a hard thing to go back to be able to reconnect and reestablish that bond or the romance or the friendship. Like, and what you're saying about having past relationships and looking back and be like, doesn't I felt that way at that time and it was X amount of years and now I don't even care. I wonder if, if that maybe was because it was an out of sight, out of mind thing. And now that they're back together, it's all coming back to them. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, out of sight, out of mind is one thing, but I'm telling you right now, if one of my exes in my sight, I'd be like,
Uh,
"Hi, how are you? Like, what are you doing here in my house?"
yeah. But
No,
yeah,
I just
maybe because years have passed. I mean, for them, it's still a little bit of a fresh wound,
I was gonna
right?
say, so it's been a year and a half, they're saying, and
Well, that's a long time,
that
actually.
still is a very long time. And I look, I wasn't expecting anything to happen with them this season, as far as even any type of physical contact in a healthy way. I thought maybe they might get in a fight, but like I didn't think there'd be like this emotional connection. So the fact that we're even getting that as a viewer is kind of unexpected and kind of a payoff. Like you like your payoffs. That's something better than
It's
nothing.
something. It's something. And I wonder how it's going to continue throughout this season.
Like I
Is this
said, I
a
hope we
one and
get more.
done
And
thing?
yes, we know they probably don't end up together after this. Maybe they're just doing this amazing secretive thing where they're pretending to date other people on social media right now and they're not letting anybody know. And it's going to be this amazing thing when the show ends. We'll realize they're together and then boom, they're going to start popping up all their posts like they have to do for those Love is Blind shows and all those shows where they can't tell the viewers yet that they are still together. So they have to stay off their social media until the show airs. Maybe they're pulling a fast one on us. I doubt it. Oh my God, am I here for if that actually happens,
I
though?
mean, it's such a common thing. I mean, how many people do you know? It's an on again, off again relationship. We see it all the time on TV and in our real lives. It's not that I don't know, but I just feel like to be engaged to somebody, but they're in such a unique situation because they were engaged, but they're also on a reality TV show together with no phones, no family and friend support from home, kind of guiding them to go down the right path. It might be hard for them to stay strong in that environment, but I just think it's yeah, I wonder how they're gonna bounce back from dabbling in it again and then having to go through the hurt again.
Right. I'm here for it. Very exciting stuff. Let's move on to Fessy and Colleen, which I thought was really like a funny moment where Kim is in bed and he hears like a bang against the door, and he's like, "Who?" He lets him in, and then I thought Kim's reactions were also really funny in the confessional, where he was just like making all those different faces to describe the fact that he has to deal with like what we're in college again, and you're going to be hooking up all night, and I'm just sleeping across the way. So
Really what the challenge house is. But
yeah,
I love Kim's German accent and Colleen's. I just love
yeah.
the accent they have when they speak English. It's amazing. So
After
I
when they were down in elimination tonight, they had some jokes they were throwing out there. She was like, oh, the view's much better from up there. And then I forget what he said, but his line was even funnier than hers. I was like, they were making me laugh out loud. So I was happy to see them stay. I mean, but look who they were going against too, though. Who gives a crap?
Yeah,
Let's be
so
real.
Fessel goes back to being messy. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering where's Michelle?
I wrote it down. I said, I'd love to get Michelle's perspective on this relationship.
Yeah.
Like, what is she just okay with? Because we have to assume, we don't know. But I assumed she spent the night cuddling. We saw it in a previous episode. They weren't just there. I assume they at least made out. So, like, she probably has some thoughts on Colleen and Fessy now, but whatever.
But wasn't Michelle supposed to be with Jay as more than friends?
Oh, I
Had a wrong interpretation.
maybe they've hooked up in the past, but I don't think it was anything serious, was it?
I thought that.
Are you typing away right now to find some information? Have Jay and Michelle ever hooked up? Has there ever been a kiss exchanged? Spit swapped, etc., etc.
No.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I know Jay was with Morgan, and I knew that
So
situation.
they're just Survivor besties, I guess.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, who knows? I mean, they go out all the time. Like they go, let's go to Vegas for the weekend. Let's link up, as they call it all over the Instagram stories now. And they link up. They probably got drunk and made out. Who cares? Everyone's making out with everybody nowadays. It's worse than ever.
I don't know if that happened at all. I just kind of thought with them two coming on the show together that maybe they were dating, but I think
it was more of the same thing that happened between Johnny and Raven. Hey, we're both in the same management team through Survivor. Yeah, we'll be best friends for this show. Who knows? The other hookup we have
has finally decided who he wants it to be obvious, I guess, because remember he said that he was pursuing like 4 different girls in the house, but by hooking up with Colleen, I feel like maybe it was hidden. Sure, he entered a dark room and Kim was in there, but that can't be a secret for that much longer. So he had
Michelle.
So
there's Michelle, who he's already gotten some from. There's Laurel, who is kind of moving towards the Horatio side. At least that's for showing them like where they sleep at the same area. And then who was his third girl besides Colleen? What was the other girl?
Annalise. He said that he was.
Oh, I think he made a great choice in Colleen. I think she's fun. She seems down to earth. She's got a fun accent. She obviously has curves, if you're into that sort of thing. So go Fessel, get it, bud. Go get it, brother.
It's funny you said he made a good choice, because I'm kind of just like, but I feel like he thinks that he's a bigger player than he is. was Annalise even a little bit into him? We don't even know what happened with him and Michelle. They could have just
but they've hooked up in the past though as well. We've mentioned this before. They've hooked up on not other seasons, but like either off season. Like they've had intercourse, I believe, and I hate to just throw that out there, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Pretty sure I'm right.
Substitute health teacher. They've had intercourse before.
Yes, I know the definition of it, and I will state it out to everybody. Yes, I believe that they have done what I believe the definition of intercourse is.
They have done the intercourse. Amazing.
The only other one is the Laurel and Horatio, if you want to briefly talk about that, where she just couldn't stop hugging his body. I'm not into I don't find Laurel attractive. I'm just not into Laurel. I'm not into like super tall girls. It's not my thing. So like, I don't know. I can't get into it here with that relationship.
They sleep in bunk beds next to each other, and every time she wakes up and goes to sleep, she just sees this shirtless, very attractive. He's very cute and handsome, fit guy. I mean, as long as everybody is single.
Do you think she just reaches her arm out in the middle of the night and they just make a little bridge with their hands and they just hold hands?
They probably could, because you mentioned her height and
her height.
So maybe she can stick a leg over and
a leg could be a little leg arm cuddle or a leg little footsie action.
Very fabricated cuddling from two.
Do people still footsie, or is that a 90s thing that we used to do as growing up? For the foot. Oh, you're younger than me. You probably don't. What do you know what a foot?
Of course, I know what footsies is. I remember. You know what I think about footsies? I think it's gross, because I remember being on a line at Six Flags and seeing a couple going on the Medusa ride in New Jersey. So it's a 4-seater that you have the strap over your shoulders, and a couple, they have their toes like interlocked, playing footsies going up on the
really, because they were wearing sandals and they can't have the shoes on. Now, what's funny,
and I was like, this is the most disgusting thing. And that's footsies for you.
That's a little much with the footsies. I was thinking more if you have socks on, but no, I mean, if you have a couple clean feet, I mean, footsie's okay. But no, Medusa, which is funny you mentioned that, right? Because I'm from Massachusetts and I would go to Jersey like every summer and go to that
What?
exact theme park you're talking. Oh, yeah,
Do
Six
they
Flags
not have Six
Great
Flags?
Adventure.
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't have
I
a Six
and
Flags in Massachusetts.
Medusa got changed to call it was called Bizarro for a while. I don't know. Do they
Change
ever go
back.
back? Yeah. And
Change back.
and they should change it back because Bizarro was such a dumb thing because at Six Flags New England, we had the Superman ride, which they also changed to Bizarro. And I hope they switch it back because no one knows who the F Bizarro is unless you're a super geeked out comic book geek. More power to you. But like no one knows that Bizarro is Superman's like ultra ego, like the other version of like it's the opposite of Superman. No one knows that shit.
And
So
it was
dumb.
the same exact ride. So all they did was change the paint color and
And
slap up a picture of Bizarro.
and they added some special effects. They had some
Oh.
fire, which lasted for like 5 minutes. There was probably someone got singed. Like, shut that off. Like they had a couple extra elements, as they call them, they added. Like maybe some lights flashing, but like that was it. And they had it. I remember going one year it was Medusa. The next year, me and all my cousins and my brother, we all show up, my sister, all of us. It's like, oh, it's Bizarro.
All walking very quickly.
Well, we were very excited to run through. We would get to Great Adventure so early, they'd still have the rope up.
Yep, the cutting of the rope.
They dropped that goddamn rope and we ran. You know where we ran first?
Goddamn rope. What time is this? What year? Did you go to
all the big rides are there. All the main guys are there.
El Toro?
That would be a choice, but that's not where we'd go first.
Nitro.
Nailed it. Nitro, 100%. That first drop is the bomb. And the other fun thing about Nitro is at the end when you're doing the circles, you could like you start to like your eyes start to close because of the velocity that it's pushing you at, and your eyes start to close. And my sister would almost pass out every time at that ride. So you'd hear her wherever she was on the ride, if you're on her, she'd just be saying, stay awake, stay awake, stay. And she'd be screaming at herself to stay awake because she'd be afraid. Yes, and I'm talking about the girl that looks just like you, Jenna. That's my sister.
That's a hell of a way to kick off your day at Six Flags.
And the best part was, Jenna, is that there'd never be a line. So they would allow you to stay on the ride and go on it 3 or 4 times if there was no one waiting in that line roll right next to your exact seat line. But yeah, you could stay on if you want or get off. And we did it like 3 or 4 times in a row. And my brother's girlfriend at the time got like she got sick and she had to stop because we went like 3 times in a row.
I need to go home by 9:30 a.m.
There it is. All right, moving.
Okay, we also need to talk about one of the biggest things of this episode is that Veronica and Darrell come back.
Oh yeah, that would actually probably be where we should have started. But the problem with you go first with it. You go first. I'm very excited.
Well, I'm excited because I'll take Darrell every single season, and Veronica is a legend and a staple in this game. So I'm excited that they're on. And I'm glad to add like some more vet power, ironically, because I hate when vets run the game. But if it's a vet like Darrell and Veronica, I feel like they're not totally going to be bound or tied to Bananas. They're not going to do everything Bananas
Darrell is his own dude, and he even said it tonight. He said, I won't forget that Horatio and Olivia got us out of this elimination. Not that they wouldn't have destroyed the other team, by the way. But at the same time, he's like, I have no alliances here. I come to this thing fresh every time. I'm not trying to necessarily work with the vets. So Horatio and Olivia, plus them, that's a great foursome right there. I love that. I love them. But my point is, I wasn't more excited about talking about Darrell and Veronica because we've just known for like a freaking 2 months that they're coming on this damn show. They didn't keep it hidden enough, blah, blah, blah. So like that whole shock value, I just didn't hit me. I'm like, okay, finally they're here. Let's move it along here. They're finally here 3 weeks late. Like, what the hell? Just bring them in.
It really sucks to have spoilers. I don't know why people like to put that stuff out there. It ruins my experience. Yeah, at the end of every single episode, I always like, okay, I know exactly who's coming today.
Yep. It's one thing to have the cast list leaked. That's one thing. But then to have all these like supposed special things happen, like the Jordan thing coming in and the Darrell and the Bananas and Nani, like those things should be so tucked away, but they come out. And then we find out about them because we're just scrolling social media all the time. And I follow way too many challenge T sites that, but luckily all the challenge T sites that I follow, and I've unfollowed the ones that give away too much stuff, they'll put up a spoiler notice. They'll put like 3 things in a row. So unless you're going by it more than 3 things, that spoiler is in that 4th picture slot. So you never get to it unless you're that obsessed with Instagram and you accidentally hit on it. So it's nice.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, because sometimes Instagram is playing with you and it has you're scrolling and it's already on the third picture or the second picture of someone's slideshow.
I've only noticed it if I've already scrolled through their stuff one time, it will put it to the second picture. I didn't know that they could. I hope they don't push it because that would be, I don't think
Maybe
they
that's
do.
what the algorithm is, because I've never understood why sometimes I'm scrolling. I'm like, oh, someone posted a slideshow, but why am I in picture 3? Like I didn't even touch their
Oh,
account.
really? I really hope that's because then that would be an issue for these spoilers. But I haven't run into it yet, but I'll definitely keep an eye on that because I don't want a spoiler for this season.
Mm-mm.
I have no idea who wins this season. I promise. And I love that I don't know.
But it's just so sad that the challenge of the day, Darrell's first episode of this season is a heights challenge when you're up 300 feet in the air. And I
Again,
wanted,
Jenna,
huh?
they knew when they were going to bring him on the show. They knew all this stuff. What better
Why
way to
do
bring
that
him
to
in,
him?
create a little drama for Darrell, even though it's weird because the last time we saw him was All Stars 3, and he literally, I believe, didn't even do the Heights challenge. He said, I'll go to elimination. But for some reason he did this one. So maybe because he had a partner with him this time and he didn't want to screw his partner over. But at the same time, what happens if you don't participate? Do you just automatically go into elimination? Because it doesn't work that way anymore. It used to be the last place team goes into the elimination no matter what. I kind of like it that way. Fessy came out on his Instagram, or I don't know, got reposted on a Challenge T site. He's like, I've never participated in a challenge where the last place team has to go into elimination. I kind of want to see how that go. I want to try that out. And I have a little more to add to that later with the Jordan Nisa thing. But yeah, go on with
Yeah,
Darrell.
I agree. I really miss those days. I think we've talked about it before that it just made sense because you had so much more incentive to be great during the
Yeah.
challenges. You can't quit. You can't kind of mess around. You have to really be locked into your competition. And it's kind of, I think it's the fair thing to do. Like, hey, you sucked the most. You
You
came
should
in
have to
last.
it's like you suck now, so now you got to prove yourself here. And if you don't suck 2 times in a row, you're back in the game. It's a
Yeah.
great formula. I don't know why they don't do it
Yeah.
anymore.
And then, yeah. And it was not only did you have to win to get power, you had to not lose to go into elimination. So it was definitely like exhilarating in terms of
So that's
competition.
what's confusing to me, though. What happens if Darrell says no to this one as well? Like in All Stars 3, he automatically goes into elimination. That's how All Stars 3 worked. It was great. Why? How do we ever prevent someone from just quitting? And what's the repercussions for that? I don't get it. But whatever. We haven't
Yeah.
seen it yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen it in this one, but I can't remember what the challenge was on All Stars that he decided to quit because of height. So,
He had to walk out on a beam and do a trivia, was it? Or do no? What the hell was it?
our commenters are gonna let us
Oh
know.
no, he had to walk out on a beam, solve a puzzle. If he didn't solve the puzzle first, they dropped you from the end of the beam. They all had to solve puzzles. At the end, there's like 4 people in a row. Like, yeah,
It's very similar because now he's hanging.
yeah. So
And
what's the deal? I think maybe because he didn't want to let Veronica down. Maybe that's where his motivation came from more, where he was a solo man, and that other one, it didn't matter. I guess maybe did he? I don't know. Did he have a partner? I don't remember. Whatever.
he also talked about wanting to show his daughter that she has to be uncomfortable to be able to grow as a person. So I wonder, when he came home, he probably saw himself
Yeah.
quit on All Stars and said, that's a really bad example. Like
That's what it is too. Because remember, Veronica said we're gonna conquer your fear of heights this season. So he had no choice but to do it. He's not gonna quit
yeah,
22 seasons in a row. So that makes sense. I
they
do want
said
to talk
that. And
about the
what do you
people.
know? The very first challenge is heights. And I was like, poor Darrell. But for reference, I wanted to see how high being 300 feet in the air is. And according to this one article, fact check me if I'm wrong, it's as tall as the Statue of Liberty.
That seems pretty damn. I mean, I was looking down with them. I'm like, that's freaking high. I want
Really
to know
high.
how high like King Dakar is to bring back Six Flags New Jersey. Like,
Ooh, let's
I
see.
think that's around 325 feet or 400 feet or something like that.
456.
Yeah, so it's even higher, but like that thing is a freaking monstrosity. So even to take 100 feet off that, you're still high AF in the air. This is not yeah, you're at the top of a roller coaster.
I
Yeah.
cannot do King Dakar
What's the
anymore.
top of El Toro? I bet
Ooh.
that's only like 250. I bet Nitro's our height. I bet Nitro's our height.
El Toro only goes up to 181.
Yeah, that's not even high. Try Nitro and then we'll be done. I think Nitro's going to be our winner.
Nitro is 230.
Still, even so, I mean, you're higher. And Nitro, when you make that first drop basically straight down, it's like 80 degrees or whatever it is.
Terrifying.
God damn, that's high.
You
So,
know,
holy
that
hell.
70, even that 70 feet adds so much though, because like King Dakar, I can't do it anymore. I used to be able to do it in my youth, but it's so high, it's frightening. And I know Darrell has a fear of heights. It's a part of his personality on the show. Everybody knows it. But even if you don't have a true fear of heights, no one should like being up that high. But what I realized during this challenge is I was so distracted, I forgot that they were up that high because I felt like all of the competitors were just like thinking about their jumping form and how hard they were going to hit their partner, the impact of their jump. None of them seemed to be flustered by the height.
It's, yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised we didn't get one person that was more scared, but like, we didn't have I'm trying to think of people that have been really afraid of heights in the show.
But my
Trishelle,
point
wasn't
is, like,
Trishelle super afraid? Tanya, like, we don't have them on the
yeah,
season. So,
but there's no way people can just jump off a 300-foot tall building and not be scared. Like the way everybody felt way too relaxed for me.
yeah, and I mean, but at the same time, your one job is to hit them with as much. We can get into like the logistics of why only two teams were able to get this flag next. But I really think a lot of it's something called momentum. And you saw Colleen and Kim try to do it. Kim, when he was hanging there, tried to swing his body like this. However, she didn't time it right. So when she hit him, instead of being their flags over here, let's say the flag's here, he was here. So when she hit him, it went like this. If he was like in the middle and swinging backwards and she went into that momentum, then she would have got it. But she hit him when he was coming towards her. So when they hit, it didn't absorb. It just smack daddy stopped the damn thing. But yeah. I mean, he was the only one that tried that, by the way, that momentum thing. Everyone else did it the wrong way. They had the heavier person there. They had a light person touch them and they thought that they'd make it further. No, have the heavier person, or you just have Jordan, who was he hit her with all his might. Yeah. A man hitting a woman with all his might in that way propelled them towards the flag. And then you saw Nelly do it to Nurys, who's a stick figure, and obviously they were able to get enough momentum. That's how you have to do it.
Yeah. Jordan and Nurys and Nelson, Jordan and Anissa, and Devin and Tori, I think were the only people that had the guy run into the girl, which was so smart. And I don't know why any other team didn't do it that way. And in the same heat, Fessy is having Mariah run into him. And he's like 6'5" and a linebacker and a football player. Like, in what way did he think that was going to work out? But sometimes you just don't think about that. I think that they cared more about how long you can hang, and all of the men felt more confident doing that. So they lost sight of the fact that you still need to get a flag. And I think in the beginning, people didn't realize how hard it was or was going to be able to catch that flag as you're falling down. It looked really hard.
Yeah, you think you'd get more and more people as they went on, though, that switched to that girl hanging, guy running thing. But this brings me back to the thing. They put too much emphasis, you nailed it, on the holding on, as if the last place team goes directly into elimination, which doesn't qualify here. So Jordan, this is what I want to talk, bring it all back now, full circle. Jordan's the first team to say, hey, look, it doesn't matter that Anissa, and I know this because I'm Jordan, I know Anissa's going to last about 15 seconds holding onto the rope, but that's not what this elimination is about. It's about whoever can get that flag, and no one's going to be able to get that thing. So this ups my chance to get it by saying, Anissa, hold on for your 10 seconds, and I'm going to make sure we get enough momentum to get up there. However, if this is based on last team goes directly into elimination, do you think Jordan still does that technique? I don't. I think he'd be the one hanging there because he knows, well, at least if I'm not last, at least I still have a chance to not go down there. So that's that whole thing. It's a lot to think about. But yeah.
And he's a seasoned vet, so he does have some experience playing these kinds of games, because doing something like this is so hard. You only get one shot and it happens in a blink of an eye. It's such a quick flash of being able to jump from a building and trying to grab a flag. Once you do it once or twice, you're like, oh, if I could just do it one more time, I think I got it next time. You need a few practice runs, but you can't get that on the challenge. So not only are you trying to hang above 300 feet, your partner's thinking about how they're supposed to impact you, where they can jump. And then you got to think about, oh, grab the flag as you're swinging. It's a lot of things. And I think it looks easier on TV when somebody is able to execute it than it must be actually doing it. It's probably just feels crazy and impossible.
And what I love about a challenge like this is it's very hard for the producers to influence the winner, or it's just, hey, two people got the flag. All right, now it's like, this is it. Like, what if only one person got the flag? They're clearly the damn winner. And you could tell, and you could tell it's not manipulated, because who's going to believe that Anissa hung on longer than Nerys? Boom. So, like, this was definitely, to me, I'm not saying the producers ever even manipulate it, but if they wanted to manipulate something, they really couldn't manipulate this one. Just so, there you go.
And plus, Nelly's whole storyline of him never winning a daily challenge. You knew that needed to happen, that it was going to happen. It was only a matter of time. And it's funny, though, because they did the vignette in the first part of the episode where he was talking to Jay, basically saying, like, you don't want to win. You never want to be in power, which is kind of true. But at the same time, if you're not in power, you're also vulnerable to being one of 4 teams going down. So your possibility is totally upped than in any other season to go into elimination. But he has a point of, like, not wanting to show his cards or get blood on his hands. But it's always kind of comical, because you wonder, like, does anybody ever really want to lose, though? Like, Nelson, you would win if you could win, wouldn't you? And then he went out there and won.
This episode could not have worked out any better for Nelson. He made all the right decisions. Him and Nerys made all the right decisions. They got a team to go home that no one gave 2 craps about. The team that they put in there all went home. They didn't really burn any bridges. They were in the alliance with the whole Olivia thing, which we'll get into her plan next. It worked out perfect. He now has a 1-54 record. Congratulations to Nelly. And by the way, I knew he was going to have a big season. He's on the goddamn, like, poster for the season. And him and Nerys are, like, the most featured ones.
Oh, wow.
It's them, it's Amber B and Chauncey, and then in the smallest one, it's Banana and Nani, which is also ridiculous. And they're ants on it. But what's also interesting about that is, like, they weren't even known to be on the show originally, but you put that poster out, it's like, wait, they're not. Wait, why are we giving this away? Like, it's so ridiculous. But they're big names. You can't, they're big names.
Maybe they were hoping that since they're so small and at the bottom of the poster, nobody was going to look that way. Everyone just.
I mean, get out of here with social media the way it is, and the crazy challenge fans that are out on here. I mean, they were zooming in on that damn thing. Right? So yeah.
What did you think about Tommy's ballerina Broadway performance?
I was a little confused because they gave him so much shit for that. But when Jordan grabbed the flag with him and Anissa. Anissa didn't go for the flag. She just kind of hung on for the ride. So Annalise went for the flag and Tommy didn't. The exact same thing that Jordan and Anissa did, but they all gave Tommy crap, maybe because it was much more performative. So I understand that. But Anissa, you were dead in the water, or so say dead in the air too, just floating around up there. You didn't go for the flag. You stood there like, holy crap, come on, Jordan, you can do this for me. Like, so leave Tommy alone. I know I've given Tommy a ton of crap, and I'm about to give him so much crap later on. So maybe that's why I'm being nice right now. But his little short, stumpy arms weren't reaching that damn flag. So let Annalisa, whatever the hell her name is, let her go for it. That's fine.
And she almost got it.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear this week I saw her almost get it, because a lot of her comments last week were saying, Jenna, Tommy and Annalise did not do nearly as well as you.
Well, I brought up to you that they do mention on the show last week, they said how they got last place, whatever that last place means.
But listen, all right. I guess.
Oh, well, let's talk about the comments real quick from last week. Okay. Somebody in the comments last week, and this is a great one, because I love comments, no matter if they're for me or against me. The fact that people feel it's necessary to comment on our little show, more power to you. Keep them coming. I do not care. Someone wrote this: Dan is a tool of a human being. Someone wrote that in our comments. So I was like, okay, I need to respond to this. So I went back into my bat cave. I'm like, I'm not going to respond right away because it's going to be something mean, and I don't want to be mean. I want to have something funny. I want to have a funny comment back. So I let it sit for a while. I went to work. I don't know what I did. But then I wrote,
thinking about what you were going to say.
It wasn't I didn't go back like, I got to think about it. But I was like, I'm not going to react right away to this. So then I was sitting with Stacy, and we were sitting there, and I was like, I said, Stace, someone called me a tool of a human being. I think I'm going to write, thanks. However, you are no longer invited to the potluck. Like, just like we're having like an event, but now you can't come. And she's like, yeah, I write that. That's funny. And you're not being mean. So I wrote that. They deleted the whole thing later on. After I wrote the potluck, it was still up there because I responded to it. A day later, I went back to check. I was like, maybe they responded and we'll have some witty banter back and forth. Deleted the whole thing, whoever that was.
Who was it?
His initials were TT, but it was a very fun name that I've never heard of before. So his first name started with a T and his last name started with a T. He or she. I didn't recognize the name. Like, I don't know. I've never heard someone.
Expose yourself. But I want to give a shout out to all the people who commented about dehydration levels.
Yeah, you got a lot of those.
So a lot of people are checking their dehydration levels when they go to the bathroom, so that's great. But also, I was hit with a bombshell by the person who said, you don't want your urine to be so transparent and clear, which what I strive for, because then that means you're kind of washing away the nutrients and vitamins that need to be in your
Correct.
body.
So if you
I'm
take
like, no,
vitamins,
I'm
yeah,
literally goggling water all day because I think I need to have clear pee.
I agree with that as well, because I know if you take vitamins and you have to pee a lot, you're just peeing the vitamins out. The vitamins are just going right through your body. They don't actually get to absorb into whatever part that you want it to
So
absorb into
happy
or give you
medium,
whatever.
I
Yeah.
guess. It's like eggs. You research eggs, and one blog is like, the worst thing you could ever eat. And then the other one is like, you should have 6 a day. They're amazing.
I'm doing the egg thing. Yeah, I'm on the egg train for sure.
Yeah, egg train for sure.
Egg train.
All right, back to your regularly scheduled program. Any other takes on the challenge of the day?
And I said everything I wanted to say. I don't know if you have anything else you want to jump in there with.
I thought it was cool that only 2 teams got it, and one of them happened to be a rookie was involved, and that's Nerys. And
They say they want about a 70% non-failure rate when it comes to these challenges. I think they probably only got like an 85. They probably got an 85% failure rate. So they went a little. I think they were hoping for a couple more teams to get flags for sure. They only got 2. At least they got 2 though, and there was something there.
But if
yeah.
the game was good, I don't really mind.
Oh, this was a fantastic challenge. I have no complaints about this. It was different. It involved heights. It involved no puzzles for once. It involved no setting off a cannon at the end or whatever they held. What are they always?
Machine.
Yeah, no smoke machines. I love it. This was great.
They're not decoding a bomb this time.
Yeah, no decoding bomb. No BS. I'm in the army now type stuff. Like, let's just have it. I want fun. I want some drama. That's what they gave us. It was good.
Yeah, this is a pretty simple classic one, straightforward.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we can get to the club now. That is what happens next. The only thing I have from the club is Olivia's plan. Everything else was kind of course, they showed Tommy dancing. They got to show that. It's his last. Tommy, great final dance, by the way. A great finale number for you. Olivia's plan. What do you think of it? We got to talk about it.
His dancing. Yeah. So I think it was risky. And she talks about it at the club with Nelson. And Nelson, I thought it was right of him. But he's mentioning to her, like, hey, I'm going to have to throw you in, which is hard to do because he did hook up with her the night before. But at the same time, it's a game. He just met you. You guys only hooked up once. Now he's in power. He has to throw you in. But I thought that was nice of him to give her the heads up and try to explain his reasoning. I was not expecting her to come back with, like, yeah, actually go ahead and put me in.
This is a great idea. Yeah.
See that we're working together. I think they'll be really surprised and they're going to think we're not aligned if you put me in. That's great. But I was kind of feeling bad for Horatio. Like, did they talk about that before she just offered themselves up? I thought it definitely made sense to me, but I thought it was very, very risky because so many people think that they can do those sort of strategies, that maybe they can put themselves up for elimination, or sure, use me as a burn vote, and then they go into elimination and then they leave. Like, it's a very risky thing to make yourself vulnerable in the game, but I couldn't believe she went for it.
Yeah. I mean, i.e. Pooch on Big Brother this past season. We just saw that in like the first week. What are you doing, Pooch? Get out of here. Do you remember what happened? Yeah, Pooch.
Yes, I had a delayed reaction to the name. I was like, Eon Pooch? Who? What?
Eon Pooch.
I don't know. I heard you say.
I don't remember Pooch's real name, but I think his last name is like Poocherelli or something.
Yeah, it is. Exactly. He is like textbook example of that strategy.
I wrote down Olivia's plan is whack, but then as it went through the episode, I said, okay, well, it does have its pros and cons. However, at the same time, if you're really working with another team, isn't the whole idea to not have any of you go down to the elimination? So I was like, wait, so how are you ever going to work when she wins now, if she puts you guys in? Like, how are you ever actually working as a team if you keep sacrificing yourselves to go into this elimination? Because it's not always going to work out picture perfect like it did for this one episode.
They really lucked out. And I feel like it's got to be production having an influence in who pulls the safe dagger. Again, like we've kind of talked about, are they getting lucky or are they manipulating who's able to get the safe? Because I was thinking it would be great if they pull the safe because it puts them in a situation to then kind of separate the two teams that they made promises to. Like if Olivia is saying to Colleen and Kim, like, yeah, we got your back, we're gonna save you, but then also saying it to Darrell and Veronica, then it kind of puts a line or puts a shadow on how much integrity and loyalty they have in the game. But this could have been a producer editor thing. They only showed Olivia and Horatio talking to Darrell and Veronica. We never see Olivia and Horatio having a conversation with Kim and Colleen. We just see Nelson being the person to make that deal with Kim and Colleen. So it takes Olivia and Horatio out of the hot seat and kind of makes it seem like, did they really even backstab them if it was just Nelson and Nerys trying to guide Colleen and Kim to protecting them?
Yeah,
So.
I mean, all I know is I swear that box gets bigger and bigger every week. I'm like, there's definitely can be a human being in there. Like I look at it, I'm like, that's not, I could fit in there. It looks pretty wide, and you can just bend your knees up if you're lying there. And I'm sorry, but like if you have no safe one on there, right? The first people to go, like, because TJ says, okay, who's the first? No, not they went second. Darrell and Veronica. Okay, there's no safe sticker. It's a sticker. There's no safe. They're all three are blank. So no matter which one Darrell pulls, okay, that one is coming out with no safety on it. Got it. Now it's down to two. They know. They say, okay. TJ says, okay, Olivia and Horatio are next. The guy in the box, if there's a guy in the box or a lady in the box, there is a earpiece in the ear. Okay, Olivia and Horatio are going next, as you just heard, because I mean the box is probably paper thin, anyways. And he said, okay, they're going for. Looks like they're going to be pulling from the middle one. It's now time to slap the sticker on the middle one. Okay, you slap the sticker. However, it doesn't matter. Slap the damn sticker on both of them, because guess what? Once the safety one is pulled, they never pull the next one. So you keep them all blank. You set it up however you want every goddamn week. It's a huge conspiracy, but I want to find out if it's real.
That's a good point. They could just slap a sticker on both.
Slap a sticker when they're ready.
I mean, we'll never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. Unless somebody tells us after the show aired, because people do like to leak things. And
especially ones that know they're not coming back for another season.
You think that maybe they have like an underground tunnel that the producers are going from the trailer. Easy. They army crawl through their dirt underground tunnel to get to the boulder that they're under.
Look at it this way, Jenna. It doesn't even have to be underground. It can be built on a platform. I just did an event for like an awareness to cancer the other week, and it was at it was in LA. It was at the right in West Hollywood at those big the blue, green, and red building, like right in front there. God, it's gonna kill me. I don't remember the name of that building, but it's a huge building. And in the front, there's just a big like grassy area. They built a platform like this far off the entire thing. The entire thing was on a damn platform. It's like they can do anything with these things.
The almighty they.
All these genius people. Like, no, I'm sorry, but whoever like is constructing that whoever designed it, I mean, maybe not the people putting it together, but that design, that's an amazing design that you can have something that's safe. And then they had another stage on top of that where the Jonas Brothers performed that night. I mean, it was insane.
Oh yeah, I love the Jonas Brothers. But yeah, I was thinking as the episode was unfolding and as it's becoming apparent that whether it's Nelson and Nerys or Olivia and Horatio, they're making a deal so that they remain safe by both teams. Of course, that could always backfire. Maybe another team could say, no, fuck that. I was thinking that Darrell and Veronica, with their veteran spidey senses, were maybe going to sniff out like, wow, this seems really weird. So you were hooking up with her, but you threw her in, but now you want us to go work with them and save her. I thought they might flip the script and say like, nah, I don't really trust you.
I don't think they were in a position to do that at that point. I think they just wanted like, hey, you're not our target. That's all they wanted to hear. Everything after that was like, hey, and Nellie's like, oh, and also, can you just leave Olivia alone? Because I kind of like her still. I think Veronica and Darrell were like, it's too early on. The fact that we even got put in this position because they brought us in 3 weeks later, this sucks. Like, mind our P's and Q's. Let's move on to the next week and worry about it later. I think it was a great move by them to not bring it up. Like, no, cut a deal. At this point, cut your damn deals and keep your mouth shut. And let's move on. Let's get to week 5 because we just skipped the first 3. It's really only week 2 for us next week.
Right. For them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking as it was unfolding, that the best way for the storyline to go is for Olivia and Horatio to pull this safe. But it seems like at the end of it all, maybe their promise to Colleen and Kim wasn't even really that true or that heartfelt. So it kind of, it fizzled out. But then Colleen and Kim go into the elimination with Tommy and Annalise,
Yeah, but
and
like honestly,
hard to watch.
it was hard to watch. That's exact words that come to mind when I watched that elimination. But like, who was on at that point? Once you know that Tommy and Annalise are down there waiting for you, who was really scared? I know anything can happen in elimination, but
Yeah.
didn't they have already those two things were already? Didn't they already know?
Oh, probably.
It's
Yeah, you
probably
could
already
probably
there. They're
start
looking at it like,
to.
okay, I got it. There looks like there's probably a puzzle, and someone has to pull a rope. Like, who's pulling the rope on that team, Tommy or Annalise? Because they're both going to suck at it. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Once you see the rope and you see the machine, you might start to formulate an idea, get a sense of what the game is going to be. But I don't know. I think you
I
should
mean,
always
no one wants to
be
go into
scared.
elimination. You're
Yeah, you
right. When
should
you,
always have fear because there's difference between cockiness and confidence, right? Like it's good to be confident, you believe in yourself, you know you can get the job done. But sometimes you go in too cocky and then you're passive and then you lose. So
that's true.
you always have to be ready. But I
That is
think
Darrell's famous line. So
he stays ready, so he gotta get ready.
that's right.
But Kim finds very quickly that he's chilling in this elimination, and he's trying to help Tommy so that he can at least have some friendly
That
competition.
I've never seen that before on the challenge. It's a first for me, seeing a competitor help literally the person that could send you home. He's giving them advice. Hey, you might want to wipe off your shoes so you have more friction on that surface. Insanity. Never seen it before in my life watching the show.
Gotta be a German etiquette
It
because
could be.
like a British Bake Off. Do you ever watch a British Bake Off?
No.
It's a competition baking show, and I love it so much. And they all help each other and all really encouraging and supportive of each other. And they'll run over and be like, "Oh, I can help you with your icing and your piping because her cake is done." I'm like, God, people in American game shows are so cutthroat. We would never go and like help
I
the
mean,
couple.
I don't know what they're playing for in this British game show, but it's $1 million
About money,
over here at the
actually.
challenge. So it's a little even worse that Kim is helping, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, exactly. But I think you saw the writing on the wall that it was like so obvious that Tommy, even if he could lift Annalise up, it was not going to last for long,
It
unfortunately.
didn't even
I
matter,
felt
yeah.
really bad for him. I felt like he was throwing his body all over the place, trying to do anything he could, and he beat himself up so much over it. And I feel really bad because he's wondering, like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Like he's feeling that desperation because it's not clicking. He's never done it
There's
before.
a couple issues going against him too, though. His arms aren't long enough and his legs aren't long enough. There's not that distance from the ground. He's too close to the ground. And in order to get enough momentum, as we've been using that word tonight, you need to be taller and longer so you're further away. Like he had this much, he didn't have any room to pull the rope close. His arms are so short, he pulled the rope like this versus Kim had long strides to get he couldn't move the rope. And then he didn't have the height either. He had so much working against him.
Kim
And
is
I'm sorry,
really
but this brings me always to the line I always quote from the movie Rudy. Do you ever remember that movie with Sean Astin, the football
I
movie?
know it because I think we got it for my dad one Christmas, just as like I think we just saw it somewhere and bought it, but we
Yeah.
never watched it. I don't even think it's out of its plastic wrapping from
Well,
13
you know
years
what
ago.
Sean Astin looks like, right? He's very short, he's very small. And basically, the
Yes.
whole point of the movie is he wants to go to Notre Dame and he wants to play on the football team. All right. So not only does the dude not have the grades to get into this school, but he eventually does for his senior year. He gets in to Notre Dame by going to another school near it and and he finally gets accepted. Now he gets into Notre Dame. Now he wants to be on the freaking football team. All right. This dude is nothing. He's nothing. He's a box. He somehow gets onto the practice squad because he shows all this. Then at he barely makes, but at the last, one of the last games of the season, he gets to be on the sideline. They finally let him onto the sideline. And then because they go up by so much, actually gets to go into the damn game. All right. But before all that happens, once he's been there. He cannot get onto the team. Like he's on the team, but he's not on the team. He's on the practice squad. It's nothing. The janitor who he works with, because he works with the janitorial staff just to make money to be able to afford this damn school. He's working, and he's like, I'm leaving. I'm done with this. I've tried so hard. They don't let me off the practice squad. The janitor guy looks at him. He goes, dude, you're 5 foot nothing, 100 and nothing. What do you expect? You're so lucky. You're getting a freaking 5-star education. You made the practice squad. You're good. Like, you're lucky to even get this far. And so that's what reminds me of Tommy tonight. Tommy, you're 5 foot
Wait, so
nothing.
you
You're
mean to
100 and
tell
nothing. You're lucky to even be here. You're going home. Bye-bye.
is Rudy a parody movie?
It's a true story, actually, about a guy named Rudy Rutabager who went and got into Notre Dame and actually played in one game.
Wow.
And so Sean Astin played the real life guy.
Because it almost seems like such an atypical movie because they have this great hero's journey and storyline, and
So
he
good.
doesn't even get to the finish line.
It's got a
like
young Vince Vaughn in
sad
it.
for him.
It's got a young director of all those Marvel movies.
Oh, it's kind of sad. Poor Rudy.
No, but
But
the fact that he got
education.
to suit up for one game, and he even got to go in for a couple plays, and he supposedly made like a tackle or something. They kind of hype it for the movie. I don't know if in real life it was quite so amazing and magical, but yeah.
You know what? We do need some more realistic movies like that. You know, not everything is going to be the movie where you make your way to fame or fortune. Sometimes a lot of people try and you don't get there. We need to have some realistic stories too, some realistic expectations of what's going to happen in our lifetimes.
But if your dad still has a copy of that Rudy movie, you should definitely watch it. I cry every time on the last scene. You will not cry. It's so emotional.
Rudy. All
Rudy.
right.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So that's the elimination, and yeah, he could not pull that rope. I mean, to get her out of the mud. So.
He felt so bad for his partner, and for that reason, I feel bad for him. Like he really felt like he ruined her shot. But you know what? They wouldn't have been down there if they weren't shady last week.
Yeah.
So
What if they swap places, Jenna? Do you think she would have had a better chance of pulling him up out of that? He doesn't weigh that much, right? I mean,
I don't know.
Because there's always that thought, like guys got to do the strong thing, and the girls got to do the solving the puzzle thing. Like it's kind of stereotypical. It always goes that way.
You're right.
I mean, I'm saying the majority of the time, I think it's smart to have the stronger dude that has to hold you in a position to solve something versus you wouldn't have Fessy be in that position and have his partner Morena or whatever her name is pulling on him. Like, is it Mariah? I thought it was Morena. No, whatever. You're probably right.
It is fun spelling.
It's a fun spelling.
Right.
You're right.
I mean, they definitely can do that, but I do think that Tommy looks stronger than Annalise. I think it looks like he has more arm muscles, and
but again, I think she's a little taller, so her arms are longer, and she might be able to pull. I mean, that rope looked hard to pull though too, because even Kim was like really chugging on that thing. So
yeah, and you don't know till you try. Maybe she kind of psyched herself out too. Was like, I'm not going to be strong enough. You do it. Yeah, I'd like to know what their process was there, because. How tall do you think Tommy is?
We went over this last week, Jenna.
Right.
I looked it up and everything. What was it?
Sorry, not tall. I mean, how much do you think he weighs? Sorry.
Well, he's 5'4". I would say he weighs 120 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Because my cousin is 5'7", and the kid weighs like $150, and he's 5'7". This guy's 3 inches shorter.
Performer, I think he weighs more than that. I think he has more muscle on him. 120.
Can we look up Can we look up a weight of somebody?
Middle schoolers.
He's 5'4", which is what middle schoolers are in height.
I mean, I'm 5'5", and I certainly weigh more than that. So I imagine. I'm sure
I guess. All right, hold on. Tommy, what's his last name? Tommy Big Brother. Weight. Let's see if they actually have a weight for this guy.
I'm gonna think 160. I don't think they put weight online. They're not gonna.
They have a bio of him from 2019 up here. Maybe they put it up here.
He was at the.
Yeah, I don't know.
For the NFL, he's like his specs are out there.
Yeah, I guess. He's 22, but that was of 2021. He's only 23 years old now. Yeah, it doesn't have his weight. It skips.
I'm sad that.
Not on this one, at least.
Down to me.
Yeah, sorry, Tommy. We don't know your weight, buddy.
Yeah, because that's what it depends on.
Yeah. I got his 5'4" inches. Another one says 5'4" inches. God, if we can get his weight. Oh, they just have his height again. Sorry, everybody at home who's listening to this. All right, sorry. Yep, no weights.
Well, anyway,
Tell us in the comments below how much you think Tommy weighs.
yeah,
Buck 40 then. A buck. I'll give him a buck
buck
40.
40. I mean, them leaving, it doesn't, it wasn't like that bombshell at the end of the episode that I was like, ooh,
Yeah, who
okay,
cares,
now
right? Yeah.
like things are shaken up. It was kind of one of those teams leaving that you probably assumed that they were going to leave sooner than later because they ruffled everybody's feathers last week and they weren't winning daily. So to kind
Yeah.
of leave on that note was kind of like, okay, like let's move on to next episode. You know, I didn't really feel like, oh
Yeah,
my
even
God,
if
can
they
you believe
survive
that?
this week, did you give them a shot in hell of winning the whole thing though? Like, just you're not going to get. You have to be good at too many things, and he just had. They both had too many things working against them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just too much. Like he's. You're not going to not
If
run
you
into
have
a
a good
strength
social
one or
game,
endurance one or what.
but the thing is, if you have a good social game, you can get to the final, and they ruin their social game, even
And
if
I
they
and
win.
I did think there was a chance of that with them saying, "Look, we're literally not gonna like. There's no way we're gonna beat you guys. So why would you throw us in? You should throw in a bigger candidate that could actually hurt you guys in the final." But I think it was such. Nelly was happy he won, but also did not want to ruffle any feathers because kind of
Yeah.
he's working with the vet side and Narice is kind of working with the rookie side. They're kind of stuck in the middle. So what better way to not ruffle any feathers but by throw away a rookie team that the rookies are mad at and that the vets also don't care about rookies? It's actually the perfect move for Nelson, which I mentioned earlier, where he's going to have no blood on his hands for what him and Narice did. I think it was a great
Yeah.
move. Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. I think people will start to maybe catch on to it that he is working with Olivia. I mean, you
Well,
still threw her down there. So even if you're working together, it's still like you're risking her fate in the
well,
game.
here's the
But
thing. She's not really mad at him. So isn't she going to go cuddle up in bed with him tonight? And then they're going to be like, wait a minute, wait.
yeah, that's the thing is but Anna's like, she's taking this so well. And I almost was thinking, should you be playing it up a little bit more? But then you don't want to overkill it and then have people think like, okay, you're being crazy
No, I
and
thought she was excellent. They had everyone fooled. Bananas was fooled. He came right onto that confessional and he's like, "Oh man, like because Bananas could go on that confessional and say, I'm not buying it for a minute. This is a part of it." Like he could have just said that, but no, what he said was like legit. I can't believe that Nelson would throw his number one girl in there. So
yeah.
good move, a lot of fun, good for Nelly, friend of the show, friend of the podcast, obviously. Check out our picture. It's us and Nelly.
Yeah, so we'll see.
We will see. All right. Any other final thoughts? We went on a couple of really fun tangents. If you guys have your favorite roller coaster ride, tell us about that. Tell us about that. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
What was the other thing we brought up today?
Um,
Six
Rudy.
Flags. What's that?
Rudy. The entire we should have did a
Yeah.
spoiler alert. I know that movie's been out for what, like 30 years or something you said,
Gotta watch it. Yeah.
but
Favorite
now you
sports
know
movie
the
of all
entire
time. We
plot.
can talk about that. That's what they should write in the comments. Your favorite sports movie of all time.
Okay, the replacements.
Oh, I mean, there's too many.
Best. It's the best.
I'll jump in with like a Space Jam, like the original, that new LeBron one. Get the
Okay.
hell out of here! But the original Space Jam as a kid, like couldn't get enough of Space Jam. Like maybe like an Air Bud.
Okay.
No, not really. Oh,
And
Little Giants. I'll go Little Giants all the
Little
way.
Giants is so
I
good.
have that movie. I have watched so many goddamn times. It's insane. Little Giants for sure
All right.
is up there for me.
Good.
All right. Mighty Ducks. Never mind. I could go all day.
Oh my God, this is too many. Now you've ruined your credibility.
I move into this house. Okay. I move into this house with Stacy. In the garage from the previous owner, there's a giant Mighty Ducks poster from the 90s just hanging there. I'm like, that is staying up for my entirety of living in this place for damn sure.
Yes, that's awesome.
All right. We'll see y'all next week for episode 5 of the Challenge Ride or Dies. Pam will be back next week. She was not feeling well today, and we did not want to put her through that. But yes, we'll because everyone's commenting in the comments, Jenna. Where's Pam? We miss Pam. I'd love her Pam's perspective.
So, miss her. She'll be back soon.
She will be. All right. See you next week.
Everyone.
Bye.